Hello and good evening. Welcome to Let's Talk. I'm your host, George Zayas. Tonight, I have a really cool guest. Welcome to the show. I have a really cool guest tonight. Her name is Cara Castronuova. You've probably seen her, on TV on NBC, The Biggest Loser. I want to show you a video of her before I bring her in, so that way you can see who I'm talking about. All right, let's put her on.
Into the ring now. Here's Cara Castronuova.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the moment you have all been waiting for. Live from the Mass Mutual Center in Springfield, Massachusetts. For those in attendance and the fans watching around the world, this is the main event of the evening, scheduled for 8 rounds in the Cruiserweight division. And now the officials are ready. The fighters are ready. Fight fans, are you ready? Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, with a professional perfect record of 15 victories, 0 defeats, 12 of those victories coming by way of knockout, Richie Papaya Silverman Rivera.
Another great introduction from Cara, really bringing the heat there, so we appreciate that.
Very passionate.
All right, and that's Cara. Oh my God, that was awesome. Cara, thank you for joining us. Here we are. Here you go. Hey, what's going on? Welcome to Let's Talk.
I didn't realize how messy it was behind me because I just jumped in. Sorry.
No, all good, all good. How you been, Cara?
I'm good. How are you? Your house looks very neat.
Yes, thank you. Yes, thank you. I'm gonna play the piano after we're done talking here. Anyway, listen. I thank you for joining me here on Let's Talk. That was an incredible introduction. I mean, you that was the first time you ever did professional boxing ring announcing?
Because I've done, as you know, with you, we've done the color commentating together for the amateur shows, but I had never done professional ring announcing before. I did a couple shows, but they weren't televised. That was the first time it was really televised. So I was very nervous.
No, it didn't look that way. I mean, you did a great job. That was fantastic. Let's get into a little bit about your career and about what you do and stuff, because I mean, there's a lot to unpack here. I mean, I was just going over your stuff, your bio, and I'm like, oh my God, this girl's done everything. She's been involved in so many different things. And I mean, it's just interesting, your whole background of what you've done. I mean, you've been on The Biggest Loser.
Yes.
You were a celebrity fitness coach. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay, you did that. You also, what is it, 2-time or 3-time Golden Glove champ?
2-time. I fought 3 times, but I won twice. So I won the silver gloves 1 time. That means you came in 2nd place.
Okay, that's cool. Hey, listen, you got the gloves. That's all that matters. So you get 2-time Golden Glove, 1-time silver gloves, and you've also. I mean, I was just looking. I mean, this is deep. I mean, all the stuff that you've done here. I mean, how many lives do you live?
I don't have a lot of interests, I do.
Okay.
I used to, like, I don't know, when a lot of the little girls I train, I will teach them how to do makeup, and I will teach them how to do their nails, and then I'll also teach them boxing. So it's like I'm very multidimensional.
Right, and then you also have a not-for-profit organization that you're running.
Yeah.
You've been a fitness model and a spokesperson for nutritional companies as Puma, Model, Sporting Goods, the Sports Authority, Kind Bars, Purim Health. Who else? I mean, it's just the list goes on and on and on. Where do you find time to do all these things?
I don't know. Sometimes I really feel like my mind never stopped working. That's basically it. That's why I always loved boxing so much, because it was the only time I could really focus and zone in on one thing, like just the fight or the training for the fight. But other than that, I get myself involved in so many different things that I feel like sometimes I'm going crazy.
Well, you're definitely an A-type personality, and I guess to keep the wheels turning, you're always involved in stuff. And I think I'm kind of the same way, because here I am doing a talk show because of COVID. And speaking of COVID, what have you been doing? Because I know you're a fitness trainer and you've been working with some people. What have you been doing to stay fit, and what are you doing to work? Because I know nobody's working right now.
Right. So for me, first, let's start off with me staying fit, which is really important. I feel like, right, you can't see me because I'm wearing this gigantic shirt right now. I just threw it on. But I'm actually in the best shape I've ever been in years. I could really honestly say that. I feel like it's like my jailhouse body, because we're under quarantine right now, and I literally have, if I don't go running and do push-ups and pull-ups and stuff every day, then I will literally go crazy because I start to feel the anxiety come up in my chest. So I'm out of the door every day working out, and I have like a six pack right now. I have like muscular cut arms, just like back when I was boxing. I'm like, oh my God, nobody could even see it. I'm single right now. I'm like, I'm not going anywhere. So I'm just like, it's just for me, I guess. But I exercise every day, and I mostly do it in the parks, the local parks. Rain, it doesn't matter. It's snowing right now in New York, which is insane. Or there were some snow flurries, but
Right.
a week ago there was a hailstorm. And I never knew what hail was until I ran in it, because I was like, you know what? I have a schedule.
Oh my
I'm running
gosh.
tonight. I went running in the hailstorm. It was like the most excitement I'd had in probably like months, because it was so cool, because like, these hail balls were just bouncing off my face, and I was running as fast as I could. There was like lightning and thunder. So when it comes for me to working out, if I don't do it every day, I will start to
You go stir crazy.
right anxiety.
No.
So it
Yeah.
works for me because it also helps me look good, but it's mostly for my mind, actually.
I mean, getting hit with hail in the face, I don't think that's
Yeah.
gonna make you look good, Cara.
It was really cool, actually. I never really knew what hail was. I
And
didn't know.
the size of the hail. I mean, if you were getting hit with golf ball size hails, I mean, the hail size, it wouldn't be cool. Trust me. All right, one of the things, you've been featured on The Biggest Losers, The Biggest Loser, not losers, but loser. Um, you worked with a couple clients there, well, not clients. I guess they're what would you call them? I guess contestants.
I would call them contestants. That's what we called them on the show. Uh, they were the people that auditioned for the show, came on. They were usually the men were at least 500 pounds, the women 350, 400 pounds. So contestants, yeah. And it
Right.
was interesting.
Yeah.
Just because I don't think anyone could ever say they've trained, not many trainers in America or in the world could say they've actually pulled hundreds of pounds off a person, because I like your average 500-pound person isn't walking into a regular gym or boxing gym and saying, I want to lose 400 pounds. So
Right.
that's what was so different about it. And, no, nobody could be, I mean, I'm not saying I had the experience as a trainer, but there really isn't a way to prepare for that unless just doing it. So it was like kind of a learning experience. I could say I'm like one of the 5 to 10 people in the world that really understand the science behind it.
Okay, and then that was the what was that? The 11th season of the show.
Yeah, it was the 11th season of the show.
And you helped to propel the highest ratings. You were on the
Yeah.
show when it was like the highest ratings. You think that has something to do with you?
Do I think what?
And do you think that had something to do with you being on the show?
I think so. I
Okay.
definitely think so. A lot of people said I was their favorite trainer. Someone actually a couple people reached out to me recently. I guess people are quarantining, so they're maybe reaching out to people more. I've been getting more Facebook messages, but he was like, "Oh, you're always one of my favorite trainers," and I filled out in a questionnaire once that you were my favorite trainer, and it was because of the boxing. A lot of people like that. They respond to like the fighter thing.
And then let me ask you a question. Did any of those boxing skills that you learned in getting the golden gloves, did that help you during the training on the show?
It did. For the most part, that's all I did on the show was train the contestants in boxing. They loved it. At first, I was thinking to myself, should I mix it up? Of course, I mixed it up with other stuff, but 75% of the training that I did was boxing training, and it was the most effective because a lot of these contestants had really bad knees. They had poor joints, so boxing isn't as hard as running on a treadmill, say, or running outside or jumping rope. So there were some guys that I had started out with seated shadow boxing. Literally lost, one guy lost 40 pounds in 1 week. I'm not lying. This isn't a joke. A lot of it was water weight, fine. But from seated shadow boxing,
Wow.
these people, this contestant, he just never moved so much. And he was so dedicated to really wanting to lose the weight. So he lost 40 pounds in 1 week, seated shadow boxing, because he broke his knee.
Now, is that something that you've done? I'm sorry?
It works. Like boxing works as a workout. Your whole body is moving. You're sweating. It's a lot of people I know really hate running, and they hate doing cardio. So boxing is really such a great. It's a good substitute. It's just you have to learn how to do it right. I have a friend who he works out with me, or he attempts to. He lives around the block, and he wishes he knew how to shadow box, but he's so freaking stubborn. He doesn't want to learn from a girl. Like he knows I could kick his ass, and he just freaking like, I'm like, let me just show you because he doesn't like running, he doesn't like doing anything, and he's gaining weight. I'm not gonna lie, and I'm like, let me show you how to shadow box, hit the bag, so you could do this on your own, and you'll get ripped in a few months. But he's just so macho. I'm like, get a life. You know what I mean? I've trained so many men, so many big men, and he's just so kind of. I think he has like a crush on me, and he feels like weird learning from a female. So I'm just like, okay, you could just watch me then. You know what I mean? It's fine.
Right.
But I mean, if he learned how to shadow box and if he learned how to hit the bag on his own, he doesn't have to go running anymore. You know, the
Sure.
weight just falls off. Like guys get ripped when they're just doing boxing as a workout. You
All
don't
right.
have to hit it.
So if you're listening right now, you want to get ripped, there you go. Cara just gave you a gold nugget. Just
Yes.
shadow box.
A lot of guys have muscle underneath all that fat. It's the truth. You know, they really do. Like guys are usually pretty muscular underneath all like the extra fat. So when you shadow box and you box, it's just like it just sheds it right off, takes it right off.
Now, with some of the contestants that you help train on The Biggest Loser, do they keep in touch with you, or was that like a client type thing, or NBC has like a non-disclosure? How does that work?
They do keep in touch. A lot of the contestants keep in touch. I speak to them often on Facebook. Like, I mean, Facebook is everything, I guess, nowadays, even though they've done some questionable things lately. But I do keep in touch with a lot of the contestants on Facebook. Sometimes once in a while, a random call here and there. I do feel like they're family. Like if I was ever in their town or they were ever in my town, they're more than welcome here to stay here. And I'm sure that it goes vice versa. Like I'd say 5 to 6 or 7 or 8, even 8 of them in particular, are just were like family because we lived together
Got
during
it.
the show. We actually lived in the same house. It was like a big ranch they rented, and I slept in the attic, you know,
Oh,
above
wow.
these people, and I'd smell them cooking every day. So it was like they were like, and I was much younger then. I was 30 at the time, and these were people were like 60, some of them. So I felt like they were like parents. So it was a little weird. I was like, how do I gain authority over these older people? So I had to really be tough. And how do you tell your grandma like you can't eat that? You know, I would come down, I'd smell bacon fry, and I'm like, no, 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 no. Like I remember one particular day, somebody was, I'm not gonna name names, but was frying up some bacon. And I was like, what the hell are you doing? And everybody was mad because it was a team effort that season. Like everybody waited as a team. So this contestant just was like insistent upon frying up this bacon. And it was a big confrontation. It was all off camera. It probably would have been some good stuff on camera, but it was off camera. And I'm just like, I had to really it's just hard telling somebody that's older than you what to do. We have to really
Well, I guess when you're younger like that, yeah, it
yeah,
might be.
it's like a guy who could be your dad, and you're like, no, you're like trying to rip the bacon out of his hands. But in the end, it worked out. You know, he's still a very close friend. I love this guy. You know,
But you know what? They're gonna respect you because you're the coach, and they're gonna. So as an older person, I can see somebody young that's fit, that knows what to do, has the knowledge. I'm older. I'm in my 50s. So it's easy for me to listen to somebody that's young, has been there, and I'm like, okay, yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna listen. So it's not. I think it's more like with the person that's younger that feels that than the actual older person. You're getting trained. You gotta listen to the coach. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. So they listen for the most part. I'm just saying that for me, sometimes in my head, I'm like, oh my god, like I'm listening, but like just in my head, I was like trying not to laugh sometimes because we have to be tough and yell, and especially on camera. And in my head, I'm like, like trying not to laugh, like. Then I'd be like, turn around and just like act serious and mean. I
Did
guess
you
how it is to be a parent, like when you're like really stern with your kids, and then you're like trying not to laugh, and then I just assume that's how some parents are. That's how it was for me, you
did
know.
you get along with the other hosts? With Joe and the other guys. Did you get along with them there?
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, as much as you could get along with people who sort of viewed you at the time as competition, they were nice people. Hollywood's a tough place in general. Everybody's out for themselves. I'm not gonna lie, but yeah, I mean, like I can't say that they were horrible people. They're the good people in the sense that they're ambitious and doing what they love to do. You can't hate on that.
Okay, so now I'm going to switch gears a little bit because we're going to talk a little bit about your boxing background. I'm going to bring up a photo here. This here, I see you with the heavyweight champion of the world.
In the world, one very good friend, and two of them, both of those are two of my best friends. I have
Yes.
many boxing best friends, many, 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 many. It's like almost like Rocky, like the movie, except female. My best friend, I fought, and we almost killed each other. One of them is fire, Keisha. the girl that was in the lighter weight in the photo, and another is Vanessa Greco. She is my best friend. We talk every single night since this is all the quarantine. Every night she's at 3 in the morning calling me, and we fought each other. God, I don't even want to age myself and say it was like 15. I don't even know how many years ago. We hated.
One of these. Look, Cara. 15 years ago.
Yeah, like that. Like
That was years
a
ago.
while ago. But we both haven't changed. That's the funny thing. But I really like we just despised each other. We hated each other, and now we're best friends. It's so weird, you know. So you leave it all in the ring when you fight. It's like you hate each other, and then you love each other. And the same thing with Keisha. Like we hated each other. We were competitive because we were in the same weight class, and we both were in New York. And now it's like we hang out all the time, you know. So those two are my closest friends. Sonya's always been a close friend. I met her at nationals, and now she's the president and vice president of USA Boxing. She's a multi-decorated champion and very dear friend. So.
Absolutely. She's awesome. Sonia's an awesome person. I mean, I admire her. And let me tell you something. In boxing, I think boxing, and I haven't seen this, you've heard me say this, I think boxing, the future of boxing, you gotta include women. A lot of the women fights, and help me, you know, to validate this or not, are sometimes more interesting than the men fights.
I agree. I mean, I think that okay, for example, what was the fight that that wasn't the fight I announced. I announced an undercard for a Showtime fight. It was the Clarissa Shields fight, the one that was just on that big main event. I didn't actually announce Clarissa. It was Jimmy Lennon Jr. He announced that one, but I did the undercard. And the fights were so exciting. Oh my God, I saw Alicia
was that here with this one when
that was on Long Island. That's Cletus Selden.
Yeah, Cletus Selden. Okay, Long Island. Okay.
Female fight. It was Alicia Napoleon. And that fight was so exciting. I couldn't take it. I was so jealous. I was like, I wish I was Alicia right now. She was going at it. It was like a bloodbath. It was a war. It was a very even fight. I thought she won the fight, but I might have been a little, I'm not going to lie, I could be biased because I like her a lot, but she had showed so much guts in that fight. It was like, she got knocked down twice, I think, and just jumped back up and kept fighting. And I'm like, oh my God. It was like, are you on the edge of your seat? And I was jealous, like that I'm like, she just almost got knocked out, got back up, kept fighting. Oh my God. So yes, the women fights are not like men fights. Men, while technical and good, the women have more heart for sure. And they fight from the heart, you know,
and you know,
they don't give up.
Sitting next to you and we co-commentating on some of the amateur fights, I've seen that. And I'm like, oh my God, this is crazy. But they've been very, very fun to watch. Let me just get a couple of shout outs here real quick before we continue. We got Peter Estrada tuning in. Thank you, Pete, for tuning in. Miguel Vergara, Charleston, Veronica Vercella. I'm sorry I'm messing up your name. He's from the, you're being watched right now, all the way in the Marshall Islands.
Marshall Islands? That's cool.
Yes. We got Jose Villanueva and Angel Bones. Thank you guys for watching and tuning in. If you have any questions, I want you guys to include it right down on the bottom, you know, with any questions that you have for Cara, anything about, you know, her training or boxing, and we'll make sure that she, you know, answers whatever trainings that she has. Questions that you guys have.
Yes, thank you. I'm
okay,
sorry
so,
about the way I appear right now. I wanted to clean myself up for this, and I had such a long day. I just had such a long day. Like I said, I have to exercise every day, and I tried to wash my hair and blow it out, and it didn't happen. As you can see, it's a little bit of a mess. I put on red lipstick to try to look like camera friendly. I don't think it really worked, but this is just me hanging out in my house right now. Plus,
have they compared you to any boxers? Because I know I compared you to somebody when we first met. Has anybody else compared you?
It's like looks wise, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Did you say I look like Mia St. John?
Yes.
Yeah, a lot of people say that, which is obviously a compliment. She's probably the prettiest, one of the prettiest. There's many beautiful boxers out there, actually. They don't get the recognition, but she was known for her beauty. So that's
back in the 90s, right? Or early 2000s? Yeah.
Christy, I remember she fought Christy Martin. She was so tough in that fight. And I follow her on Twitter and everything. And she, like, I know she lost her son. And she posts a lot about that and her journey. So I really respect her a lot.
All right, and then you've also, and this is what you were alluding to before when we were talking about Jimmy Lennon Jr. This has got to be one of the guys, one of the greats.
Yes.
For in commentating. Now that was the night that you were commentating under him first, right? You opened up the other fights.
And I gotta tell you, when I see that picture, I get excited because, being a female in this world of males, it's been difficult. I've encountered ring announcers who are male who try to sabotage me and who will just be really catty to me, like give me advice. I feel like
Male being catty?
no, yes, being catty, male. They want just, give me a break. You know what I'm talking about. They want to, they can't stand to see. It's really, it's very rare for a female to be a ring announcer. It is rare. I recognize that, and a lot of times I won't get the most. I'll get some like snide remarks, you could say. But Jimmy came up to me that night from all the way, he was sitting all the way across. I was a little starstruck when I saw him. He was all the way across the ring on the opposite end of the ring. I was sitting on this end of the ring. And he walked all the way over to me and just to say, "You were amazing. Congratulations." I mean, he really was so, what's the word? Like authentic. He wasn't like just trying to be nice. He's like, "Wow, you were so good. Congratulations." And I was like, "Oh my God." I didn't expect that. I did not expect that. That's a big person, I think. You know what I mean? He's a big
You
person.
did very well, and you don't really see any female announcers in professional boxing, but you do see them in the WWE.
Right.
Uh,
You do all the time. Yeah. So I
yeah,
don't know why boxing hasn't picked up on that. I mean, it works.
and you don't want to segregate the other half of women. You don't want to segregate them. I don't understand why boxing has not picked that up, and they should. Because I think you'll have more people involved in the sport if you just involve women a little bit more. And I think it's crazy not to, but
Right. I
yeah,
do.
we got a question coming in from the Marshall Islands. He says, besides shadow boxing, what would be the second best workout to lose a little bit of fat? Also, thank you for the tips. Big shout out all the way from the Marshall Islands. So that's from Charleston.
Ew, I wish I was on. It sounds pretty, the Marshall Islands.
Yeah. Oh no, it's beautiful.
Where is,
Beautiful.
is that in the Pacific?
Yes, absolutely.
Can imagine. Besides shadow boxing, I mean, so not boxing oriented. I would say, you have to move around and break a sweat. That's it. Like a lot of people that go walking, it's really great and everything, but you have to be breaking a sweat. So if you're not in that good of shape, and walking makes you sweat, then walk. But I always love to jog and run and jump rope. I'll say jump rope. I just got a new jump rope. The cross, it's not the CrossFit jump rope. I'm not gonna lie. It's like an imitation of the CrossFit jump rope. I don't work for CrossFit. I'm not trying to promote the jump rope. But I've been jumping rope a lot because we're quarantined, so I do it in my driveway. And they closed the park near my house for a little while, and I was getting tired of running around the neighborhood. So I'm like, let me start jumping rope again. And especially if you're on a mat, it's really good. It's not as bad on your knees, but jumping rope, you actually burn more calories than jogging, than running, at like at a pretty tight pace. So, and it really works on your foot coordination, your hand-eye coordination. It's funner. It's more interesting. You could do jump rope tricks like double unders and crossing the rope over, and jump to the music beat. So I would definitely recommend get a jump rope, get like a speed rope and just learn. You're going to feel clumsy at first, most people do, but like honestly, if you practice for after a day or two, you'll be like a pro. It's very easy once you get the hang of it. But at first, you're gonna be like, I can't do this, and you're not gonna want to try. But just keep trying, keep trying, keep trying, and I promise it's the best workout, and it's the funnest, and it burns the most calories. Minus after shadow boxing.
And I think that would be easier on the knees than running, right?
It's easier on the knees than running. Surprisingly, you just have to keep your knees loose, and obviously you want to jump with your legs kind of having a spring, and you want to get a mat to jump on, not too squishy a mat, because jumping on the pavement's actually nice because you get that grip from the pavement, and then you could do like the tricks and stuff and jump in and jump out. But it could take a wear and tear on your knees. So I do sometimes at the track on the padded track, or you could get kind of like the surface of a yoga mat, just a big mat. I have that. I pull it out into my driveway and jump on that. Sort of like the one they have at the boxing gym. Just a light padding to give you a little bit of shock protection on your knees. Sick workout. Sick. I might even just like post. Now, the more I talk about it, the more I want to like post a video because I've been getting good. I could do a triple under, It's pretty cool. Yeah.
Okay, and you know what, guys, if you want to, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to watch her do this and maybe get some tips, you can go follow her on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. So you can go check it out, Cara Castronuova. Now, one of the questions coming in from Angel Bones, he says, who's the best female boxer? Now, that's a loaded question, but who do you consider right now the best female boxer?
Clarissa Shields is the most talked about female boxer right now because she's so decorated and she was an Olympian. So I would definitely say Clarissa's up there. I think they were talking about having her fight Muhammad Ali's daughter, which
Right,
is
Layla.
yeah, Layla. That's crazy because there's a big weight class discrepancy. But I just feel like Clarissa feels like everybody in her weight class, like she really wants to prove herself every fight. I know that her manager I spoke to, he said that he wants it to be like every fight groundbreaking. So I guess that would be groundbreaking. But I really respect her. She's a great fighter. So I'd say Clarissa Shields right now.
For sure. you know what? I have other females that come up to mind, but yeah, she's definitely up there with the one of the best. I mean, she's just phenomenal. I mean, two-time gold medalist, Olympic gold medalist. So, and just representing the country well, and then goes out there and then very heavy competitor. So, just
Yeah, very happy. She's just the best, right now. So that's all there is to it.
all
If
right.
I was in her weight class, I get in shape just so I could fight her, just to say I fought her.
Now, what do you think keeps females away from boxing?
You mean from watching or from participating or from training?
Actually getting in there and fighting.
Um, hmm.
You think it's a thing like a vanity thing, or?
Because I love it so much. I mean, whenever I meet these girls who are in their 20s or their teens and they're starting boxing, I'm like, you're so lucky. You have no idea how much fun you have in store for you. I'm like, it's just so much fun. It really is. But I think a lot of women have maybe they feel like they'll be perceived as masculine. God, I look messy right now. Sorry.
Talking about, Kat, stop it.
So
Stop.
they're perceived that they'll be masculine, or they think that they might get hurt. Oh, I think that turns a lot of guys off of it too. But I don't know what would turn a female off from boxing. I just think it's been touted through the years as a male sport. It's a combat sport.
Maybe
So
because it's barbaric, and they're like, oh, maybe they don't feel like that would be something that is ladylike, and I don't
yeah,
know.
it is ladylike, and it's actually women have more pain tolerance than men. They could handle a punch. I don't. Oh, women aren't built strong to handle a punch. Fine, maybe not from a man, but from another female, yeah. You,
Yeah, you're gonna push out a baby. I have to kind of agree with you.
you know.
All right, so we got Chris. Also, big shout out to Chris that's tuning in. He says, "Already got me motivated in shadow boxing." Wow. Hey, so there you go.
So, and I would say just watching some videos, like just some from someone credible, because it's really hard to break bad habits. Like I said, my friend wants to. He's like, I'm going to practice on my own. I'm like, no, get a trainer or go online and make someone credible, not someone doing Taibo. No disrespect to Taibo, but if we're talking about boxing here, because it's extremely difficult to break bad habits. So you want to learn from the beginning, the correct habits, and then you build on that. If you learn the wrong way, it's hard. But you know what? As long as you're moving, that's a good thing. But there's so many resources out there.
All right, we got a question here from my partner and your partner, our co-commentator, Dave Seave. He says, "How do you see Clarissa versus Ann Wolf?"
I just think, like I said before, Clarissa is the best right now. So I think Clarissa for sure.
Over Ann Wolf? Because she's a tough competitor too. I mean, this woman's she's amazing.
She is amazing. It would be a tough fight. It would be a style. I mean, I just think whoever has the best style, works their style the best, would win the fight, I guess. But I just think Clarissa's so talented, and she's just like on top of her game right now. She's like in her prime. Everybody has a time. This is her time.
Absolutely. I think Clarissa, her style fighting also is a little bit different than Ann Wolf's. Ann Wolf has that big right, and Clarissa is no longer a boxer, I think.
Right. She's really crafty,
All right, Chris says you look authentic, looks great. So see, there you go. I'm not the only one. You're fine. Don't worry about it.
I look crazy. I'm so sorry that I didn't blow out my hair.
All right.
God. Okay.
Austin says thanks a lot. It really helps a lot for you giving him that jump rope tip, and he's gonna go out and get a jump rope.
On Amazon. They come in now. It's not 2-day delivery anymore, but it will come within a week.
Awesome.
They're $20.
All right. So there's also something that you've done. You've done, like I said, you've been I guess a representative for fitness companies. You've also done. You made appearances on all kinds of shows. Color commentating. You've done that with us, also with the amateurs. You're an analyst and fitness expert on various media shows. us being one of them. You're also a referee for USA Boxing here in New York.
Well, right now boxing's on suspension, and I was taking a little break, but yes, I have refereed, and it is interesting, to say the least. Um, I love working with USA Boxing. It's interesting because it's so weird. A lot of the officials there were officials when I was boxing, so it was a weird energy at first for me. I'm like, it's almost like you're now working at the school that your teachers teach at, sort of feeling like, this person refed my fight. Like, it's kind of weird. I don't know. It's just weird. And as a boxer, you're always like, is USA Boxing on my side, or are they against me? Or you always the conspiracy theorists the boxers have, but USA Boxing is on your side because now I'm part of it. They look out for the safety of the boxers. And as a referee, I learned just how, I mean, it's not an easy job. Like, I do want to continue to referee, and I always say I want to referee a male heavyweight fight, championship fight of the world, like a big fight. Because every time I say I want to do that, like some of my very lovely guy friends, especially boxers, will be like, "Impossible, never gonna happen. You'll never be able to do that. You're not physically strong enough." They'll literally say that to me, like, and I'm like, okay, now I'm gonna do it. Watch.
And it's funny because I was gonna go to that next. I was gonna ask you about that because that's one of your goals is to actually referee a heavyweight championship bout. I don't see it far fetched.
I don't either. It's not something I want in the very near future. I know I have a long way to go, and I have to do my I can't I'm not going to just do it right away because I realize now how important it is to
Pay your dues.
That's the word I was looking for, right? Like through USA Boxing. Like, I have to be with USA Boxing for a few more years before I'm going to feel comfortable doing it on a professional level. Because it's the most serious job in boxing.
And
You're
it's very physical.
the safety of the boxer. It's like when you're reffing baseball, you're looking for rules and cheaters. When you're reffing boxing, you're looking out for the person's life. Like, their life is in your hands. If you don't call the fight, they could die. That is so scary to me. Not scary, but I didn't really realize the magnitude of it until I actually stepped in the ring. And everybody was like, "Oh, you've been in the ring a million times, so you'll be natural." I'm like, I guess you're not afraid for your own life as much as you are from someone else's. Is that, if that's weird to say?
No, I think it's just a responsibility that you have inside the ring. Absolutely, I agree.
And the last fight I did, I was like, I thought people were going to start throwing hot dogs at me and tomatoes because they felt like I stopped the fight too fast. I don't think I did because you don't see what the ref sees. You're up close and you see, and I felt like the girl was done and she was really done. And that's the way I felt at the time, but the audience didn't feel the same way. And they just started, I heard people screaming and cursing at me. So like, oh, I'm sorry, but like, I'm doing what I think is right. I don't want this person to be hurt. I don't want her to be, God forbid anything happens. It's a huge responsibility, it really is.
Now let's switch gears a little bit here because I want to, I'm sorry, that's the wrong picture that I want to bring this one up. Let me see if this pop up. Yep, here it is. All right. So you, Dr. Oz, you met him now. What was this about?
That was, I do these fitness and wellness events. That was at, iHeartMedia wellness sort of day that I went into the city, and I was one of the panelists with Dr. Oz talking about fitness and health and how to lose weight and the best type of workouts of the year and stuff like that. So I do that actually every year. I think that this is the third year I did that, and I meet Dr. Oz, and he's really cool in real life, like a really cool guy. I mean,
Real life as opposed to what?
I don't know. You just meet. I never, to be quite honest, I don't watch the show, but I don't really watch a lot of TV. But you always expect these types to. It's a stereotype in my own ignorance. But when I met him in real life, I'm like, wow, he's a cool guy. I never would have thought.
Right.
A nice guy. So I don't like meeting that famous people, although I've met a lot because if you like them a lot and they turn out to be not so cool, then it's like, what a bummer.
Yeah, I think you're right. I've done a little, acting and been involved in some stuff, but yeah, when you meet some people and you're like, but I just keep my opinion to myself and I keep it moving. But then I'm like, I try to appreciate them as the artists that they are, and I'll keep it at that. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I'll just keep it at that. Yeah, I guess so many things. I mean, I literally have so many pages about you. And let me see. I just wanted to see if I could bring up that picture. Oh no, I don't have it. All right. So you also been involved in a foundation that you have, a non-for-profit. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes. So, is that a little better? Whatever. It
No,
is.
that's fine. That's cool.
Knockout obesity. So I've always loved training kids and training children just because I don't have kids. I want kids. Like I wish I could have them on my own. I can't, obviously. But if I did, I would, I would just love to train them because kids are so easy to train because it's like a language, like it's easier to learn a language like Chinese, say, when you're a kid compared to when you're an adult. So it's like almost like you're like making clay into something beautiful when you train them, especially to box. So I train a lot of kids, and I started that foundation to help kids lose weight
I
through
lost you for a second. I'm sorry.
lose weight by learning, number one, how to box, but also have the mentality of a boxer. And this, I can't take credit for this wonderful idea of mine because back when I was younger, there was a program in Long Island called the Rising Star Program.
Mhm.
I'm not sure if you remember it. I think it might have been before you were really around Long Island. It's similar to the cop program that you guys do. It was like Dennis Dillon, who was the DA in Long Island. It was like to keep kids off the street and teaching them the virtues of boxing, like specific virtues that a boxer has, like prudence, fortitude, courage, bravery, and they had 7 virtues. And I always loved that, and it really helped me out when I wouldn't say a kid, but when I was a late teen, I started getting involved in this program. So I kind of based Knockout Obesity loosely on that program, just like teaching kids the mindset of a boxer that they could take over into their lives, not just how to box and how to lose weight. So it's like a whole mental, spiritual, physical thing. And it works for sure. Kids love to consider themselves a fighter, and it's very easy to teach a kid, any kid. I don't care how out of shape the kid is. It's so easy to teach them because they're young and they're impressionable. If they're under the age of, say, 12, easy. There's no kid that's too clumsy or too awkward to teach how to throw a perfect right hand, perfect left hook.
All right, so we got the name of the foundation. There's the Knockout Obesity Foundation.org. So they can go there and get whatever information they want. They can donate. They can do, practically anything on that website. Kind of read a little bit about your foundation and what you do. Is that correct?
Yes, for sure. See some videos of the kids boxing, the girls especially, very impressive stuff. Girls like these little 5-year-olds, they can't you can't even imagine how much power they could harness this if they're throwing the punch the correct way. Or anybody for that matter, if you have the mechanics
Okay.
right, you're
Right.
turning your body right, But these 5-year-olds, they can't imagine. They're like, "Oh my god, am I really?" Yes, you are hitting that hard because you're like actually turning your body correctly. It hurts me. I don't know if I'm getting old holding the pads. I'm like, sometimes I just got to sit down and I'm like, all right, let's just work on precision, not power. I'll say that when I don't feel like absorbing too many punches. But these kids hit hard because I teach them the proper mechanisms.
Now, have you seen any of those kids come back, maybe a year or two later, 3 years later, and you see them develop, or something that they told and confide in you that you were like, wow, you made a difference?
Definitely, for sure. Like there's tons of kids that I've worked with that have come back. Like one of the coolest things someone said to me was this one kid. Like I worked really hard to get him a scholarship to go to this camp. It was a weight loss camp, and he wrote me this letter. I wish I still had it. I have a really bad habit of like even medals I've won and trophies in boxing. They're like broken in my garage. Like I had no respect for my own stuff. I regret that. Now I have a pair of gloves signed by Mayweather that I destroyed because I used them on the bag too many times. Like
Mhm.
so I lost the letter is the point. But it's somewhere. But he said, you're one of the only people that actually say if they say they're gonna do something, you do it. Because I told him, I promise you I'll figure out a way to raise $30,000, which was I had to literally sell my soul to go to this camp. That's why I started my own camp at the time. Like some years ago, I started a camp that went on for a few years because I'm like, we're raising $30,000 for this one kid to go to camp. Why don't we just raise the money and have our own camp, and then like 20 kids could come for the same
Yeah.
price? But I promised him, and once I promised him, it was like, how could I make? This is a 13-year-old kid. Yeah, I can't. So I broke my back to raise money to send him to this camp for the summer. It was $30,000. That's like college tuition. That's
Wow.
what they charge at these overweight camps for kids to lose weight. It's very expensive um, to go. And he said, "You're one of the people that actually, when they say they're going to do something, do it." And he wrote me that years later. So yeah, that was cool. That
You
was
ever
like
keep
a
in touch with
compliment.
any of these kids, like, as adults now?
What?
Do you ever keep in touch with any of the children that, become adults now or young adults?
That old yet where kids are adults, but they're becoming teenagers. You know what I mean? I have
Right.
about like I'm sort of getting old, but like most of the kids I've trained were within the past 8 years. Some of them I would call them young adults. Yes, they grow up fast. Like there was a little girl that I trained. She was 6 years old, and now I look at her. I see her pictures, and I'm like, what the? She's like a teenager. Yes, I do keep in touch with them. There was another kid I trained. One day he's a little kid with his toys. I'm like holding hands with him. He's helping me with stuff. I see him a year later at the program that I have, and I'm like, I can't hold hands with you anymore. Like it's gonna look weird. Like you're a man now. Like I know you still think you're a little boy, but like so it's weird with the little boys. They become like teenagers so fast. They go from like a little boy, and the next year you see them at the program because we would do the summer camp, and he's like a full grown man with a deep voice, but he still wants to like hug me and like hold my hands, and I'm like, listen. Like so they grow up really fast. And they still think you're like their trainer from when they were a little kid. They have that.
Right, right. They have that mentality. They look up to you.
Yeah.
All right, so that's the Knockout Obesity Foundation, and that's www.knockoutobesityfoundation.org. If you want to donate, you want to check out Cara's work, you can go there and donate. Contribute some money. That'll go a long way for sure. I want to also talk a little bit about. Let me see. I had something else that I wanted to mention here. I mean, again, it's like if you see the notes. Well, not that.
There. I'm so impressed with your house.
Oh, thank you.
Sorry, I look a mess right. My bed isn't even made.
Thank you. No, it's all good. You're gonna see my house up. I'm gonna paint it green later on. But
No, don't leave it alone. Perfect. It's very open looking.
No, I'll tell you why, Karen. This is a green screen. This is a backdrop.
What?
It's a green screen.
That's not your house, so you don't have a piano?
No, I don't have a piano.
You have to teach me this. Amazing. Oh my God. See,
It's a green screen.
Inspired me. I'm starting a podcast. Is this called a podcast, right?
Yes. Yep.
A blogcast? I'm gonna do one. I am, especially if I could just like I'm gonna put like a paradise behind me.
Yeah, oftentimes I think I should put a beach behind me or something like that, but right now this is what I use for the podcast. But yeah, this is a green screen. If you're tuning in and you're just finding out, it's a green screen. Maybe if I keep doing it, listen, if we keep doing these podcasts, who knows? I might be successful. I might be able to actually buy that place.
Podcasting from the beach, on your villa. So
and I wasn't supposed to say it, but I can't lie to you. What am I going to lie to you?
It's all right.
All right. So you also done stunt work. I mean, that's fascinating, Cara. You've done stunt work on movie sets and stuff. A stunt coordinator. You've done that. You also started this fighter fitness corporation. This is just, I mean, it's just so much here to talk about. I mean, but what I want to switch gears now. During the COVID, I know a lot of things are happening right now. Some of them are very serious, and I'm gonna get a little serious now. People have passed away. I've known some of them that have passed away due to this horrible infection. And you have a personal story behind that. Do you mind sharing that?
Yeah. So so right now, I actually in this house I'm in right now. You can't really see it; it's dark. I live here by myself, but my aunt lives with me. She's 82. She is disabled. She's in a wheelchair. She basically was like the person who raised me when I was younger. So now I'm like returning the favor, and she lives here with me, and along with her live-in nurse who's not here because she's not here because she's in the hospital right now. Which it's weird that I'm just putting this out there, but they say your biggest don't have fear. It's not that you shouldn't have fear, but when you fear something, like it usually comes true. I think you put that energy out there. But I kept saying, Aunt Jeannie, the last place you want to be is the hospital right now because I will not be able to come and visit you, and I will not be able to see you and fight for you because usually when you're in the hospital, you need a family member there, talking to the nurses,
to advocate for you,
right? Yeah. Advocate. So you get all the words that I can't think of. Advocate for you because I'm always there. She's in and out of the hospital. So whenever she's in, I'm there and I'm making sure they're doing the right thing. I'll sleep there sometimes. I'll, just make sure that they're taking care of her, that they're answering the buzzer. And I'm like, I'm not going to be able to be there for you. So don't fall Don't be overexerting yourself. Don't do anything stupid because she tends to try to like cook when she's not supposed to, standing out of her wheelchair. Anyways, to make a long story short, because of the whole coronavirus thing, and she's watching the news all day long and she's hearing all the terrorizing stories about people dying, which is very sad. She had a urinary tract infection and then she just didn't tell me about it. She just let it go because she was so afraid to leave the house and go to the doctor, which a lot of people don't talk about. So she didn't want to go to the doctor because she was so afraid of catching coronavirus that she let this simple urinary tract infection that could have been cured with antibiotics, a very simple antibiotic, into a full out kidney infection with
Oh,
sepsis.
man. Okay.
Okay, where she started bleach, like she was bleeding all over the floor. There was so much blood, and the ambulance had to come. Like all of a sudden, we would keep in my house so sanitary because of coronavirus, and then all of a sudden, I have 50 EMT workers smelling like cigarettes. To be honest, like in my house, and I'm just like, oh my god, there goes like all our, or like we had bleached out the house, but like that's what happened. So she got taken to the hospital, and I haven't seen her since. This is going back 3 weeks. I'm not allowed to visit her. It's very difficult getting in touch with the doctors, with the nurses. So, I feel very strongly that it's not being addressed, that other patients' rights are being neglected. People that don't have COVID are not being taken care of the way that they should. And that's a fact. They found a mass on her gallbladder. They said, oh, it could be cancerous, but it's not coronavirus related. So take care of it outpatient when she gets out. But she might not be able to get an outpatient because right now the radiation facility is closed. And I was like, "Are you kidding me? She's in the hospital 5 steps away from the MRI machine. Can you just do the MRI there?" And it was like they wouldn't. It was like pulling teeth. Finally, I had to call and call and call and fight to get her a sonogram. But it was like they didn't even care that. Like it used to be that cancer was important. Like if you see a mass, you observe it right away because it's important to catch it early. And they didn't care. They just said, oh, it's not coronavirus related, so we're not worried about it right now. It's not important. And that really bothered me. So that's why kind of like I'm a little bit set off right now because of it. Just because she was literally, I was told by her doctor if she didn't come in that night, she wouldn't have made it. So you could say she was close to death. And the fact that you can't even accompany your loved one into the hospital, they should have done something better to like separate, I guess, I don't know if I don't know what the solution is, but maybe have a separate hospital for people without corona. I don't
Yeah.
know.
So now let me ask you a question though. Because of that, you've become like a strong advocate
Right.
for not just her, but for many people that right now maybe can't speak for themselves. And I don't want to get too political, but I have somebody also asking a question. They want to know about your New York protest that you attended. I think
Right.
that was last weekend.
That was on May 1st, and there's another May, right? Yeah, May 1st, and then there's another one. I'm losing track of months, and then there's another one on May 16th, which is on Saturday. I'll be there. I organized the May 1st one. I was the New York State organizer for reopening New York State. For a number of different reasons, a lot of different reasons, and there was a really good turnout. It was pouring rain, and so many people came, hundreds of people in the pouring rain, very passionate, getting soaked, um, to reopen New York State. And my biggest thing that I stand on is that our civil liberties are being taken away and that we should have choices about what we do. That's just me. I feel like it's setting a bad precedent. And I know a lot of people disagree. Um, a lot of people feel like the economy is getting destroyed. And a lot of people like me feel like the people that are getting neglected that don't have COVID-19, that have other really life-threatening illnesses that have existed since the beginning of time, and now they're getting neglected and they're not getting treated right with the proper care that they could be treated with. And also, the thing that bothers me hands down the most that are people are dying alone. You know, people are not allowed to come in the hospital, and like these people are dying alone. They can't even die a dignified death, whether they have coronavirus or don't have it. Nobody is allowed in the hospital. It is a mandated state rule from like the Department of Health or Department of State, because I called up about it and did research on it. And I don't know who has to change that, if it's Governor Cuomo, but I don't even think he cares. I don't even think he has actually thought about this. Like, I bet you anything, if it was his loved one in the hospital, he would find a way to get in because he's a governor. But the average person cannot. If somebody's in the hospital because they got hit by a car, or someone from a gunshot wound, they're not allowed to go say goodbye, or go in or just be with them when they're afraid, or going through cancer treatments, whatever. So
That definitely could be troubling. Definitely.
it's troubling, yes.
Now, because of the state was closed down, so now you're advocating for the state to reopen up. Is that what you were doing there on the first?
and to just make people aware that, you know, trading off the trade-off for safety, what is we're perceiving as safety, it could be rights that we might not be able to get back. That was like kind of is my whole point. Like Benjamin Franklin said something along those lines. Like anyone that trades off safety for personal safety for their liberty deserves neither nor something
Right.
like that.
Yes.
I believe that. And you know, if people want to quarantine themselves, I respect that. There was a time when I was really quarantining myself. But it should be a choice. It shouldn't be a mandate. If you want to stay in your house, then stay in your house. If you want to wear a mask, then wear a mask. But why are you, you know, enforcing your beliefs on everybody else? You know,
But I
I
mean,
understand both sides of it. Believe me, I'm not one of the virus deniers. I do think there's a virus. I just don't
sure.
think it justifies the what I don't think the cure, you know, should be worse than the actual virus.
Okay, got it. All right. So yeah, and I think that stopped a lot of people from going to the gyms and from enjoying the, things that we normally used to do, going to a park. I mean, they're closing down parks. It's crazy. But it is what it is. I mean, we're dealing with that now. Hopefully we can get the governor to change that on
Right.
the 15th. They're gonna schedule
The
to
16th. Oh, well, on the 15th. That's what 15th, right? You were saying they're gonna.
yeah, the 15th, they're gonna reevaluate by the 15th. So hopefully they can open back New York a little bit and we can start seeing, ease off some of these things so we can get the gyms back up. We can get people exercising, moving around. Because I think like 66% of people are getting COVID that are home, which is
Yes,
crazy.
that's the crazy part. See, it makes no sense. It
So I think they should just open up.
out. Yes, like I've
No,
been
open it
working
up
out.
at least partially. Open up partially New York so we can get out there, we can exercise, and we can enjoy the things that we used to enjoy before.
Right?
So
It's crazy when they're closing down beaches and like parks. You know, that's just overkill.
yeah, I think what is a beach? I think we could socially keep distance from at a beach and a park. You don't have to, I don't think you should close them down. I mean, I could understand if it's like you're on a swing or slides or kids are kind of there and the parents. I understand that part, but just a whole entire park, the local park here is
Right,
so huge. I could barely. I mean, I know I'm not going to be around anybody, so I think I got to agree with you. They
right.
should open New York again,
Yeah.
at least partially, then, or maybe have where you're wearing the mask. If you want to wear a mask, you want to go out, wear a
Right.
mask. If people feel comfortable like that,
So on the 16th, I was just going to encourage anyone in New York to contact me if you would like to be part of the rally.
And how do they contact you? What are
Just
your
right
social?
on Messenger right now. Right now, my Facebook page is active and clear. Actually, it was taken. One of my pages was taken down. The organizing the rally at the New York March May 1st. It was censored. It was taken down, and it was really touted as a peaceful protest. With 6 foot distancing, wearing the mask, and still Facebook opted to take it down and censor it.
Wow.
So that was crazy, really crazy. And they've been doing that to people ever like like mad. But if someone wants to contact me via Facebook Messenger or Instagram Messenger, if you're interested in getting involved, the more people, the merrier. Obviously, there's power in numbers.
Okay, now let's go back to the fitness part. I want to talk about that before we break, because we're coming up, a couple of minutes before we hit that hour mark. Um, with fitness, now you are you taking currently you taking any clients on?
I am. I train people, so I do train people from a social distance because that's what people want right now. There are people that I train that I was training that I still train, and I can teach someone from a social distance. It's whoever would have thought you could. I actually started training this one kid recently. He's not a kid; he's like a college student, and he's athletic to begin with, so it translates. But I'm teaching him shadow boxing from a couple feet away. And he's learning pretty quick but he's already an athlete. But still, so we meet up at the park. There's a park around here. There was a track and then they closed it, and I teach him from a few feet away how to shadow box, and then I'm like, eventually we'll be able to get closer, and I can hold pads for you. We could be back in a gym where there's a heavy bag, but he's getting down all the fundamentals right now with footwork and with the form, which actually could be beneficial.
Sure.
Down now, so the foundation, and training people on Skype, training people on FaceTime. So
So you're taking clients on that way, like
yeah,
where
he wants to contact me, and I never really was the type that wanted to train people online. People have contacted me about it numerous times, especially since I was on Biggest Loser. Like they know me from that,
yeah,
and
sure.
I'm just always like, um, I'd rather just be in person. It's not something I ever pursued, but now I'm like, okay, maybe it's actually the only thing you really can do. and I'm more open to it now. And it's weird because now you could train people from all over the country, which I always,
All over the world, because I seen Heather Hardy is doing it. Heather
yeah,
Hardy,
not a barrier. There's no barrier now. And like I said, I think I was telling you this before. My insurance at first, health, yeah, everybody, health fitness trainers should be insured so you don't get sued. But before, a lot of companies didn't cover online training because it really wasn't like the biggest thing. And now I think they all had to kind of cater their policies because now every trainer is training people online.
All right, so let me ask you a question. If you're telling me to throw a punch or something like that, and I hurt my shoulder, I turn around. You have to have insurance as a trainer.
I would people in America see like they could punch their cabinet and break their like china and be like, "You owe me for this china." Like, who knows what people are crazy. I've been sued before, so I learned my lesson. Always have insurance at all times.
All right, so those are very unique ways, and I mean listen, it's the sign of the times. I mean, it's crazy that you would have to get training online, and I think a lot of trainers are doing it. It's very creative. It's different. And you're working with one-on-one with somebody, or do you do a group?
I don't do group. I never even did group in real life, except for like the boot camps and the camps that I do when there's a whole bunch of kids or a whole bunch of women. I've done women's boot camps. So I'll run them and I'll get another teacher. Like I'm just not like the cheerleader Zumba type in front of the classroom, like everybody, let's go. And it drives me insane to do a cardio kickboxing class because I can't, I'm watching 30 people and like 10 of them have bad form. Another one is like gonna hit the person next to them. So I'm like, I get anxiety. I can't watch the bad form. So for me, that always drove me insane. Even though I was Zumba certified at one point in my life, yoga certified, like cardio kickboxing certified, that wasn't really ever my thing. On Biggest Loser, I had to do it a little bit for TV purposes, but for me, it's one-on-one just because I'm like such an OCD person when it comes to form, and it's impossible to teach like even 10 people or 5 even. One person's getting a bad habit while the other one you're paying attention to the other one. So
what do you mostly focus on when you're training them? Is it more like geared towards yoga, boxing, strength training? What do you mostly focus on?
depends on the person. Mostly right now I happen to have a lot of people that train boxing for weight loss and using body weight, like boxing oriented exercises to lose weight. I use I like to do body weight more than and most people don't have gym equipment in their house right now. I was never a gym machine person anyway. Like when I train people at the gym, it's always like I'd rather free weights or push ups or helping them learn how to do a pull up rather than just doing the machines. The machines drive me crazy.
All right. So, any last things or anything you want to get out, a message that you want to get out to the viewers right now? Any last, or anything that they don't know about you that they should, or how can they follow you? Just
My Instagram following. I mean, it's like I am on the fringe generation that kind of like understands social media and it does and doesn't. But everyone's like Instagram. So follow me on Instagram and contact me on Instagram. And I'm gonna start posting more stuff on Instagram and Facebook as well. But I don't know how long Facebook is gonna be around for because of all the problems that they're having. And Twitter. And also I might like you're inspiring me to maybe do a podcast because this is
okay.
maybe. I've always wanted to do a fight related one, teaching people fighting moves and stuff, but also something political. I'm not sure yet. Everybody's doing them now. It's the thing. And you look, you're doing an amazing job.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I really respect the fact.
Well, it's only because of the guests that I have on. How about that?
Thank you. But really, like, I respect your hustle. You know what I mean?
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. But it's really not about me. It's more about you. You're the guest, and I appreciate you for being here, taking time out from your busy schedule and training and getting involved socially and in activism and the COVID thing. I mean, you're a busy person. That A-type personality is always running around. I really appreciate you when you co-commentate with my partner and I, Dave. You do an excellent job, and we do appreciate you as well. So, again, I want to thank you for joining us here on Let's Talk, and hopefully we'll see you very soon, and we start doing the co-commentating again, once again, for the amateurs here in New York.
Yes, me too.
All right, so that's it. We're going to wrap up the show. We thank you, Cara, for, again, always being the consummate professional that you are. And thank you for sharing what you've done in your career and how people get in touch with you. I really do appreciate you. And hopefully we'll see you soon.
Thank you.
All right, you have a good night now.
See you later.
All right, bye-bye. All right, so that was Cara Castronuova, and on Let's Talk. We thank you guys for joining us. You guys have a great evening, and we'll see you next time on Saturday for another episode of Let's Talk. Take care now. Bye-bye.